Hello there, Sahir here, and I'm going to show you how to farm Dire Maul East. I'm not the best mage on the server, but I've got it down pretty solid at this point. I have people ask me occasionally, how do you farm Dire Maul East? And that's what I wanted to do, is create a video so I didn't have to explain it over and over. And I can show you how it's done. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's look at talents. I'm using a hybrid raid spec that allows me to AoE farm. The talents that are important are Elemental Precision. That's critically important because one resist can ruin your whole day. I also put 5 in Improved Frostbolt. You need Improved Frost Nova, 2 points, 3 points in Permafrost, 3 points in Improved Blizzard. This is optional. Cold Snap, I put a point in there. You need Arctic Reach, 2 points in there. It's a good idea to have Frost Channeling so that the blizzards don't cost you so much mana. You need Ice Block in case you get into trouble and need to just group things up. Improved Cone of Cold because we use that as part of the AoE farming spec. And Ice Barrier down here. Don't forget that in Arcane you also need Arcane Subtlety. And this actually reduces the resistances of your targets. It can also help save your butt if you get into trouble and keep you from getting a resist, which again, as I mentioned, will ruin your day. The rest of this doesn't really matter so much. So I put 3 points in Arcane Focus so I can get down farther. I put Magic Absorption here because some of the damage that the Lashers do is magic damage. And so this actually can help you here, as well as Arcane Concentration, which occasionally gives you a kind of a free spell. Finally, I have 1 point in Arcane Meditation. I'd really rather have more, but I needed to get the damage increasing spells over in Frost. Now, if you are not level 60 and instead maybe you're level 52, that's the place where you can really first start doing it reliably. 53 for sure, because you're not going to pull extra packs as you walk by them, but 52 it can be done. And at level 52, your spec would look something like this. You can just screenshot that. I'm not going to go down and explain it again. At 52, the reason why it's a good idea to start there is because rank 5 Blizzard appears at level 52, and this is the point at which you can actually do lots of damage to the Lasher packs and pretty easily kill them. However, I was also doing this at level 51 with a rank 4 Blizzard. It doesn't matter so much as long as you're careful. Well, let's get started. One more bit of information that's useful to have is macros. There's an important macro you need called Script Reset Instances. What you do here is you run your instance and you get rid of all the Lasher packs and take all the loot off of them. And then you run this macro, it resets the instance, and then you exit the instance and come back in. So I make this into a macro. It has to be spelled exactly like that. /script reset instances with reset and instances capitalized, then begin paren, end paren, and then a semicolon. Don't forget the semicolon at the end. So once you have that macro, you press the reset button. It will tell you that the instance is reset. I don't have my general tab showing because I didn't really want to get distracted by that. And then I will log out. As I mentioned, I am not going to cut this video in any way. So this isn't a video made up of the 20 best pieces of me doing Dire Maul East. This is actually an uncut single run through Dire Maul East in real time, which means you have to wait 20 seconds for me to log out. Sorry about that. Now, hopefully there's no alliance waiting for me at the other side. This is on Elysium. Depending on which server you're on, you're going to appear at a different place. On Elysium, you appear at the entrance to Dire Maul West. So as you're running by, you click that little thing there to open the door. And then I cast Ice Barrier, followed by Mana Shield, followed by Dampen Magic, followed by Fire Ward. Get those 4 shields on you. You actually really do want to have those as you're running by these ogres because they're going to aggro on you. And yes, of course, if you're level 52, you might actually die at this point because even with the shields you have at level 52, they will still be able to eat through them fairly quickly. So I'm running back, and I'm going into the back entrance of Dire Maul East, not the normal front entrance everybody goes into, and that's because you can get an extra Lasher pack there. This right here is a safe spot. You want to run those 3 of those 3 buffs again on yourself. You don't need to do Dampen Magic again because it's a 10-minute buff. I typically use Dampen Magic as a timer so I can tell how long did it take me to actually get through this instance. By looking at how much time I have left, I can get a rough estimate of how quickly I'm able to do it. Let's see, there's some other poor mage here that's trying to get by. Got dehorsed because he got dazed. Hopefully that doesn't happen too much, but well, it helps me out. Now the timing when you're actually doing these pulls is critically important, especially at level 52. At level 60, not so important. But at level 52, you're going to have to make sure you time everything so that the packs are in the right places when you jump down to the bottom. That's actually the hardest part of being a lower level character doing this. If I tried to pull right now, I would actually pull that tree and I would die, or I'd have to run out. If I tried to pull right now, I'd pull that little 3-pack of trees, and I'd die and I'd have to run out. So what I do is I wait for those things to pat to the right and then pat all the way out. And actually, I could actually pull right now. In fact, I think I will. As long as I'm careful here not to pull the extra 3-pack of trees, I'm golden. One thing you'll start to work on as you get good at this No, I'm not going to tell people how many people are online on my guild while I'm trying to make a video. Really. And then you loot these lashers after you bring them in here and kill them. So this is what you're farming in Dire Maul East, is these lasher packs. And very specifically, the things you're looking for are the lasher roots, which sell for basically 17 silver each. And also, let's see if I have any, yes, thorny vines, which vendor for 30 silver each. So you're looking for the gray items, not the green items. And those are the things that actually make you the money. Now, I'm going to pretend I'm level 52. And what I do if I'm level 52 is I actually wait a bit here because I'm actually calculating the pack at the bottom that's padding into the place where I'm going to jump. Just wait for this one big tree. This is your key here. This big tree is the one that you're waiting for. Because once he pats back to the left, then you will find that you have a pretty clear shot to be able to get around that corner. This pack is coming back and going back again, but it's actually still headed that direction. Right now is your window. And I'll turn around and show you why this is your window. If you're level 52, you want to use a light feather here, right here. If you're not, just jump at the end. At the bottom, you can blink forward. And if you time it right, which I did not time it right this time, you can actually avoid taking damage. Now look at where this that pack is back there. You see right back over here? They're actually way back there, and that's where you want them if you're a lower level trying to do this. And so what I do is, it doesn't matter at level 60, but at level 52 you're going to have to make sure that you don't actually accidentally aggro them because they're in the wrong place. So I actually typically wait for that time period if I'm lower level. Otherwise I don't bother. I just find a gap in those paths that I was showing you earlier. So let's loot these things now. Obviously if you're lower level, like level 52 or something, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful than I'm being here, because you will aggro some of these pats if you're not careful. This is Elysium, as I mentioned earlier. On Elysium, the pats move a lot faster than they did on Nostalrius, which is, of course, the core that Elysium is based on. And so what that means is, while you could do this entire run and basically pull all the packs and just do them all at once on Nostalrius, that was actually possible. You can't really do that easily, certainly not as easily here. And as a result, it takes you a little bit longer to do an entire run of Dire Maul East in order to kill all the Lasher packs. But not significantly longer, really. You're still going to hit your 5-instance reset limit about 30 minutes after you start farming. So I won this guy, and I'm going to run back. Still, again, pretending I'm level 52. And I'm going to run back to right here. This is a safe spot at level 52. So if you're right here where I'm standing now, you will not aggro those trees that pad around. Yes, I know I'm backpedaling. I do that to avoid getting dazed. It's a bad habit, but, you know, it keeps me alive, and I don't mind bad habits that keep me alive. If you're in a raid and you do that, they'll probably complain at you for backpedaling and say you really should unbind your S key and not use that. Okay, so we move on here. We're going to go around the side. Now, at lower levels, this guy right here is a problem because what you want to do is you want to basically be able to sneak past him without aggroing him. But he has a very tiny pat pattern, and you have to watch for that. At level 60, you don't need to. But at level 52, you've got to time this exactly right, and you're still going to mess it up. At level 53, you still have to time it exactly right, but you're probably going to make it. So I'm going to pretend again that I'm level 52. I'm looking at where he is now. He's a little bit too close to this wall over here, which I'm going to squeeze by on. He's still there. He's coming this way a little bit. Now I'm waiting for him to go over by that far curb over there. I don't really want him quite this close. And there it is. He didn't stay there. So I'm going to wait till he actually stays there a little bit. I probably would not make it if I was level 52, and he's right where he is now. And there we go. That's our cue at level 52. You want him to be right where he was there. So we will continue on this way. Once you get past him, there's really nothing over on the right-hand side here to worry about. You do have to worry about those trees. You can see walking over here now if you're lower level, because they will get close enough to aggro you if you are not hugging the wall. And then you'll see there's a pack that's coming up here. In fact, there's 2 packs. And so I usually use this point here to just drink a little bit. There's our 4th pack here. Is that our 3rd pack or 4th pack? 1, 2, 3. This is our 4th pack. You can do a total of 5 packs in Dire Maul East easily. There's a 6th pack up on top that I did not show you that you can do if you're really, really good. And I'm not. I know it's possible because I've seen people do it, and I even did it once myself, but I can't reliably pull that pack. The reason is because what happens is you'll get too close to this one tree, and you'll pull that tree, and you'll have to actually exit the instance, and you'll have to reset because it's one of those big ancients. It's not just any tree. It's the kind that doesn't reset when you exit the instance. And so when you go back into the instance, it'll just basically whomp you, and you'll be dead. So hugging the wall again, we continue to go over this way. And we're going to get our last pack here in Dire Maul East. The total amount of gold that you'll make by doing this is about 50 gold an hour. That's a combination of those gray items that I showed you, as well as things that you can sell in the auction house. So there's a lot of herbs that drop in here, like Grom's Blood, for example. You can get a lot of ghost mushrooms, other things that are just sell for quite decent amounts in the auction house. If you're on Anathema instead of Elysium, then you'll find that those herbs actually sell for a lot. And the drop rates are exactly the same on Elysium as they are on Anathema. So that might be a good way if you're struggling to get Grom's Blood or Ghost Mushroom on Anathema, you can actually farm this instance. And if you do it enough, you'll get more than you can use. And more than you'll need to be able to support a raiding instance. One thing that does not drop in here, however, is Grave Moss, not on Elysium. And because Grave Moss doesn't drop, that means your nature protection potions, you can't really make those in support of doing a queue. So you still have to go farm those. If you want to do that, then what I recommend doing is going to Scarlet Monastery Graveyard Instance, because there's a couple of Grave Moss in there. And because it's an instance, you can reset it and there's no competition. So that is actually how you farm Dire Maul East. You can see that I've increased my total net worth here by a little bit. I've got 3 Ghost Mushrooms. I've got some Bruiseweed, which I just basically vendor. The Thorny Vines, you look at that. It's 2.45 gold that I made from Thorny Vines. Goldthorn, well, Purple Lotus is useless and worth nothing. Actually, I always vendor Heart of the Wild because it doesn't really sell for anything either. And you get occasionally the occasional enchant bracer or enchant something. You also get Traveler's Backpacks. So since I've been doing Dire Maul, I've got about 8 Traveler's Backpacks just by farming these instances. It's got a fairly high drop rate on Nostalrius. Now, let's actually do that the way I do it at level 60. So I will reset the instance again. You can tell it took me more than 10 minutes to do this. And so I'll just run through it one more time, so that you get a really clear idea of what it looks like to farm this at a fairly reasonable speed. Not super high speed, but a fairly reasonable speed. So now you have to wait for my 20-second log out again. 2, 1. There we go. Let's enter the world again. Hopefully no alliance around. Nope. looks okay. Throw my 4 shields on. I'm going to put Dampen Magic back on. Gear doesn't really matter so much on this. Now, I've got decent but not great gear. I've just started raiding. I only hit 62 weeks ago. I do have the crafted robe of the Archmage and crafted belt of the Archmage, which I crafted myself. Obviously, because I'm doing this kind of farming, I'm able to afford it, and those are 2 quite nice pieces. But obviously, if you can do it at level 52 and 53, which I did quite a lot of, it doesn't really matter so much that you have great gear. What really matters is that you have lots of stamina and lots of intellect. So if you're going to do this, you really want to have of the eagle pieces. The stamina, because you do need to be able to survive the occasional hit that you're going to get, but more so the intellect, because you'll find that at the lower levels you start to run out of mana before you can get your Lasher Pack dead. And if that happens, well, then you're dead, and that's not good. In those cases, maybe have a few of the mana potions that you can use at that level. All right, so even at level 60, I still wait for an opportune moment here. I don't immediately charge in and pull that guy. I've never managed to pull them without aggroing those trees. However, this part here is safe, so I'll do that. You can see they move real slow with all those slowing abilities. That's the pack over there on the right-hand side that you can pull if you're really, really good and you position yourself exactly right. The problem is that pack also tends to pull that tree right there. And that's the tree that won't reset if you exit the instance. You have to be exactly spot on your jump, actually, especially at lower levels, and not be too far to the right, in fact, to pull that tree. If you pull that tree and you jump down, he'll actually follow you down there and kill you down there. He apparently has stairs that are invisible that he can climb down or something and get you. Okay, I've got enough time here to get through here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Your mark here is that little mark right there. Stay to the left of that. Jumping down, you can see I'm much closer to this path here because, oops, I accidentally did a little too early there. I jumped down much closer because I actually jumped down at a different part in my sequence, in the padding sequence, or a different place in the padding sequence. But by doing that, I'm saving time. At level 60, I can get away with that. At level 52, 53, probably up to 58, I cannot get away with that. And so I will have to actually be really careful until you hit 60. Or what you need to do is get light feathers, because if you do a light feather on that jump, then you will actually be able to float past both the mobs and this pat as it's padding back that way. Now, because I know the pat patterns, I know that right now I need to go over here. And in fact, I'm going to use a mana gem here just to get my mana up just a little bit. And I'm going to try and pull these things before this other pat gets back here. So I'm going to do my wand here. I don't use a frostbolt. You can use a level 1 frostbolt to pull them, but the problem is, that's going to slow down one of them. And that's not something that you really want to happen. I'm going to look over my microphone to be able to see my keyboard here. But I'll go ahead and slow them down mid-run just so that it collects them all together. And I'm not even being very careful with my blizzard there because I know they're all going to die. So let's loot all of them. Now, I actually came in here at level 51 and started doing this, but it was tough, to be honest. Not because of the fact that you don't have rank 4 Blizzard or rank 5 Blizzard at that point. It's really because of your aggro radius. What happens is that when you jump down, you're almost always going to pull something. And even if you're not careful, you'll pull those padding trees at the very front. And if you pull something down here, you're hosed. Because there's no way to escape if you're down at the bottom here, except by dying, which, by the way, is one of the options you have. The other way to reset instance, by the way, is that you notice how I actually did the script reset instances and then camped and then logged back in, so that works. But I also, when I was on Nostalrius doing this, I used to actually take the death way. And what I do is take off all my gear and just run into something, reset the instance while I'm running back dead, and then what would happen is I'd be able to get back into a new instance without having to go through the mass of horde that were guarding the instances. And because they were bored and had huge queue times, it was Alliance at the time, huge queue times, they would actually just sit here in Dire Maul and farm people, which was annoying. And in fact, it would take longer if they killed you on your way back from Dire Maul West to get to the Dire Maul East entrance than it would if you just ran back dead. If you're dead, they can't kill you. And so that's what I would do typically most of the time, right at the end when there would be 20 or 30 horde here all the time. When Elysium came out, I went ahead and rolled horde instead of Alliance because I still have all my Alliance characters on Nostalrius, and I thought I'd do something different. And you know, it seems to be that the horde are a bit more populated in terms of, you know, camping places like Dire Maul East on Elysium even still. So I don't have any problems with that, at the moment at least. Now you can see I missed one there. That's okay, because I've got enough shield to last until they all get here. And then I can slow them down with my Cone of Cold. I'll just Frost Nova that guy. Since there's only one left, I'm going to switch over to just doing a Frostbolt. And then do a Fire Blast combo there and just finish him off. And you can see I got some more Thorny Vine there. You get lots of raw black truffle, which is, you know, vendor trash basically. Golden Sam is vendor trash at the moment on Elysium. It's a little bit more pricey on Nostalrius at the moment. And so there you go. That's 2 complete runs through Dire Maul East. You can see based on the Dampen Magic time left, I got 4 minutes remaining. That run took 6 minutes. The first one took about 10 minutes because I was going a lot slower as if I was a lower level. At 6 minutes per run, that means you can do 5 runs in 30 minutes. Well, technically it was 7 minutes now, I guess. And you'll hit the instance lockout limit if you do that. So what you do is at that point you should just camp somewhere and then come back 30 minutes later and do it all over again. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful to you. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on YouTube or Vimeo. I'll figure out someplace, but hopefully it works for you. Talk to you later.